Welcome to Story Visions. Here is a story called A Fish Tale. Once upon a time, there was a little boy who loved to go fishing. If he had a choice, he'd go fishing in the morning, fishing at noon, and fishing at night. Every day he could, he would go fishing. The night before, he'd go out and he'd dig up the longest, fattest, juiciest worms you ever did see. And he'd take those wiggly worms and he'd put them in his bucket with his fishing pole, and he'd set out the next morning to catch fish. But the little boy never, ever caught any fish. And his mom and dad said to him, "Well, good things come to those who wait." So every day that little boy went out fishing. Now one day, he went out to his favorite spot, and he took the fat wiggly worm and he stuck it on the hook. And he took his pole and he cast his line right out into the water. And he waited. And he waited. And waited. Because he knew that good things come to those who wait. And then along came a great big fish. It was this big. The little boy was amazed, and he was so excited, but he knew better than to say very much, or he'd scare it away. So he sat as quiet as he could, holding his pole, and that fish looked at that juicy old worm, and then that fish thought,
It looks like a trap to me.
And that big old fish swam away, right back where he came from. Thought the little boy, well, good things come to those who wait. And so he held that pole and he waited. And along came a big fish. Now that fish was about this big. And that little boy was excited. But he held his pole as still as he could. And that fish swam right up to that worm. It looked at that worm and it thought,
A
worm?
I think I'm hungry for
A baby fish. And it swam away, right back where it came from. And the boy thought, well, good things come to those who wait. But waiting isn't always fun. But he held that fishing pole and he did wait. And he waited. And along came a little baby fish. And that little baby fish looked at that worm and it thought, wow, that worm's bigger than I am. I think he's too much of a mouthful for me. And he swam away, right back where he came from. And that little boy thought, do good things really come to those who wait? But he waited and waited anyway. It wasn't too long until that great big fish swam up again. And it looked at that worm and it ate it. The whole worm. And he was caught. And that little boy reeled him in and reeled him in. And he took that fish off the line and put him in his bucket. put on a new worm and cast that line out again. And he waited. And because he thought, good things come to those who wait. So he waited and he waited. And along came a big fish. And that big fish looked at that worm and he thought, I haven't found any other fish to eat. Maybe a worm would be tasty. And it ate that worm. And he was caught. And the little boy started to reel him in. Oh, so carefully, so he didn't break the line. And that fish, that big old fish was his. And he put it in the bucket. And he believed that good things do come to those who wait. And so he put another worm on that hook and he cast that line out and he waited. And it wasn't very long until that little baby fish swam along. And it looked at that worm again and it thought, I am so hungry. But if I eat that worm, I will most surely explode all over the ocean. And away he swam. Now that made the little boy laugh. And he laughed at that baby fish. And then he brought his line in. He picked up his bucket and he went home. His mom cooked those fish for dinner. And his mom and his dad split that big fish. And the little boy ate the great big fish because he was so very, very hungry. And then the little boy told his mom and dad the story about that little tiny baby fish that swam away. And they laughed and they laughed and they laughed at that baby fish because they knew that good things do come to those who wait.